My name is Dr. Megha. I'm a pharmacist at CIPLA, and I wish to welcome you all once again. And we are so proud in hosting this wonderful event. And yeah, thank you. Let me try and get my presentation out so we can start right away. Okay, I hope everyone can see my screen and it's very visible. Here at CIPLA, we work towards caring for life. That is our main purpose. And that can only be fulfilled by providing quality medication to all our patients from the time they are born throughout their life. We aspire to achieve this with a number of key objectives, like making sure that our medicines are safe, they're effective, they're of good quality, and they're affordable to our patients. So who are we as CIPLA? CIPLA is a pharmaceutical company based in Mumbai, India. CIPLA has a good range in product portfolio for the treatment towards respiratory disease, CVD, pain management, depression, and GID disorders. Our credo or core belief is caring for life, which falls with our mission to be a leading global healthcare company that uses technology and innovation to meet everyday needs of the patient. CIPLA was incorporated in 1935 and has grown with top-notch manufacturing facilities in India, extending our boundaries to Uganda and South Africa as well. We want to grow home and we want to bring things home. So that is why we are trying to extend in Africa as much as possible. CIPLA shines on with a global presence. Our products are known for their quality and we are pushing them across boundaries as we grow continuously. So why the need for a supply chain management? Growth brings about new challenges, and I think that is the need for a supply chain management system. In terms of a marketing perspective, there are the 5 Ps that the marketing mix incorporates. In terms of price, we are seeing that there are lots of competitive prices in the market, so that might not give us a very competitive edge. In terms of promotion, we have opportunities here and as well as techniques, but these are pretty much standard. Products, the specifications have moved closer to competitor brands. So again, there is not much there to do. People, yes, they can provide a competitive edge with the right team in mind. Processes are normally standard and are used by all pharma distributors. So where do we stand out? The impact for us is the place utility, which is having the right product at the right place and at the right time. And this can only be achieved by planning in logistics and implementation to impact the supply chain. We believe in value chain. Our patients should get what they desire, and that is the need for a robust supply chain. So what is supply chain management, you may ask? A lot has been covered in this conference so far. And following that, I will just try to emulate what supply chain management is to me. A supply chain is a group of partners who collectively convert a basic commodity into a finished product that is valued by customers and who manage returns at each stage. It involves all processes and activities from point of gathering materials through distribution pathways to the end user. There are a lot of teams involved in trying to put all this in place. What diagram I have there is just a simple mapping of the processes involved. The teams involved are the procurement team, the production team, the QA team, QC team, the PD team, logistics team, regulatory team, the clearing agents, all our government entities, warehousing partners, distributors, retail outlets, and financing groups. These teams have to coexist and work together at different points to deliver outcomes in the supply chain. So what are the key challenges in moving pharma through emerging markets? Obviously, we know that emerging markets have a lot of unlocked potential. And as pharma distributors and pharma industry, we want to exploit or take advantage of these emerging markets. Well, one of the issues is the tough infrastructure. Imagine a bridge which is the only connection between a village and the rest of the world. What happens when there's flooding in that bridge and it's the only point of access? What do those villagers do? How will they get access to their basic necessities as well as their medication? That is one thing that needs to be analyzed in the tough infrastructure. There's also the harsh weather conditions. Drugs should be stable and must withstand the harsh weather conditions to maintain efficacy. Regulatory requirements are there and we have to strictly follow them through. However, those can cause due delays, which are inevitable, which must be seen as a challenge. There's the vast territories, which are remote areas that are hard to access. Imagine our truck going to these remote areas and being encountered by a group of bandits. What happens then? How do our patients get access to these very valuable medicines that they need to get? There are also the customs issues. There are the new custom requirements which may damper or delay the supply chain process. Then there is the cost structure where rising costs for services provided during setup or during operations will hinder the supply chain movement. So these are, according to me, the emerging market challenges, which I think I found it necessary to address. This slide basically covers all the sub-themes within the conference. I'm sure that within this conference, we'll get to know a lot more about them in detail. I am, for one, very eager to learn how they all work together and blend. From my understanding, supply chain security has to do with getting the drug to the end user. It's also how to lock out the counterfeit products and make sure that we have the right policies in place to prevent this. Then there is the supply chain talent, which is having people in place to perform the task. Supply chain finance is finding common ground between buyer and supplier to facilitate the smooth distribution. Supply chain data has to do with forecasting and measuring movement of the product at each stage in the cycle. Supply chain regulation and compliance, well, that let me take you through in more detail in my next slide. The supply chain regulation and compliance. CIPLA believes in delivering quality medication to meet our patient needs. Quality management systems are an integral part of our processes and deliverables. As stated by Dr. Fred Sioe, our CEO at PPB, quality should not be compromised, and we at CIPLA aim to achieve that. We have to adhere to the quality management systems we have in place, the good distribution guidelines, the legal requirements, the safety requirements, the quality objectives, the risk assessment strategies, and all this will work to align to customer satisfaction, which is what we hope to achieve. We want to also ensure that our product is compliant from the first stage of registration through to post-registration within its entire cycle in Kenya and in the rest of the world. We maintain benchmark warehousing conditions for storage of our products, and we wish to keep doing that. So as a take-home point, CIPLA drives at providing patient-tailored medicines to meet all our patients' healthcare needs. Here is a case perspective of our company, CIPLA India. This is more of a process flow presentation because CIPLA India, having been incorporated in 1935, has got a chip on its shoulder and is able to drive experience into processes. And this one has to do more with the process flows. So the process flow includes procurement, manufacture, finished goods, warehousing, transport, and distribution. Manufacturer is managing the assets within the company, the equipment, the workforce, the transportation fleet, and how we can juggle or shift work between plants to achieve all our outcomes. Obviously, all this has to be done in line with the regulatory requirements. CIPLA uses pharmaceutical technology to funnel 7 decades of experience into one capsule that cures, one drop that defends, and one puff that protects. We explore every last drug to its last particle for safe and sure healing to create one dose of confidence. As I previously mentioned, it's the value chain that we want to create, and that means value to our patients. This is what CIPLA is all about, and this is how we aspire to grow and strengthen our supply chain systems. My next slide is talking about CIPLA MedPro South Africa. MedPro South Africa merged with CIPLA in 2013 to form one giant, CIPLA MedPro South Africa. And in this slide, I'll be taking you through the perspective of Joseph Ledorf, who is the Director of Supply Chain Operations in South Africa. According to him, after it transformed forecasting, CIPLA MedPro South Africa cut inventory levels by 25% and stockouts to less than 1%. Obviously, with pharma, there is limitations which are encountered. Some of them I have already previously mentioned, but I will just run through them briefly again. There was temperature control, expiries, regulation standards, long lead times, logistics, internal corporate pressures, freeing up working capital to supply the supply chain. And all these can definitely influence and impact the supply chain. And he encountered all these within his experience. So up until 2011, planning was done with a mix of business knowledge, common sense, and spreadsheets. With growth and scaling up, maintaining forecasting accuracy became more difficult. So what did our director do? He took a leap of faith and said, let me prioritize my focus. Should I keep more stock in the warehouse? I don't think that is a solution. The best way to combat this is to have a smooth IT-based forecasting system, which is exactly what he did. It was designed for inventory control and replenishment planning. The forecasting system was integrated with the enterprise resource planning system, and within 30 days, we were off and running. Once the system was set up, then began the fine-tuning of it to control the inventory levels better. Each week, the data was analyzed from a different point of view, resulting in a healthier supply chain. By 2017, CIPLA MedPro ran with only 0.08% stockouts due to external factors beyond control. This was parallel to 25% less inventory than before the process started. Obviously, from this, you can see there is a very bright future for CIPLA MedPro. The supply chain intelligence can be given accurately up to 12 months in advance, and that is a huge milestone for CIPLA MedPro South Africa. So what do we want to take home with this as per our director? Don't wait too long to take the first step. Take your leap of faith and do what you think is necessary to secure a good supply chain. Continuous supply chain improvement is never done. It is always a work in process. Keep that in mind and keep improving. Sometimes a smart outsider can provide a very valuable perspective. So do not take the advice of someone from outside lightly. You can incorporate to form a very strong supply chain system. And finally, the last one, which I really like, is that technology shouldn't replace people, but instead enable them to perform better. So this is what our director had to give us as tips to take home, which I have shared with you all today. So here at CIPLA Kenya, where do we stand? We have our South African counterparts who are doing very well. We have our Indian counterparts who are doing very well. And we at CIPLA Kenya also achieve that similar stock inventory management and forecasting intelligence. As part of our growth process, what we have done is try to recruit the right team players so that we can integrate a very good supply chain. Among these is we have hired a demand planner, a regulatory affairs support, and a business intelligence analyst who will closely align with the commercial and marketing team to integrate a smooth supply chain system. Obviously, this is not possible without our key partners, and I'd like to take this opportunity to appreciate everyone who has worked with us and is working with us, also those who we wish to form new relationships with, so that we can align ourselves to give better distribution networks within Kenya and the East Africa region. To finish off my presentation, here is a small picture of our One CIPLA family. That is our corporate house and offices, CIPLA House in Mumbai, India. Then there is the distribution facility in Cape Town. And that is our happy, smiling CIPLA Kenya team, we wish to deliver the same smiles that they have on their faces to the face of our patient, and wish to support them and be part of their lives and daily routines. Thank you very much.